MMA India Show would like to give a huge welcome to Urijah Faber. Urijah, it goes without saying you have a lot of fans in India because we are up at 2:30 a.m. doing this interview, which shows you have like a lot of fans here. The minute we put it out there that you are coming on the show, we had a huge amount of fan questions for you. So thank you for taking out time just before your fight. And it's an honor to be talking to you today.
You got it. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
So shall we start?
Yeah, let's get started.
So first things first, do you feel it was the right decision to announce your retirement before the fight? Does it put like a lot of pressure on you, which could be taken advantage of by Brad rather than announcing it after the fight?
I don't think so. I mean, I've been in pressure situations my entire career, fighting for world championships, defending, challenging, being main events on national cards, and you know, it's the same thing for me. It's me against another guy, another trained fighter, somebody that considers himself a tough dude and has trained his life for it. So I'll take that serious no matter what the situation.
All right, so I have an extension to that. When was the first time that you kind of thought about or contemplated retirement? Was it just after the Cruz fight, or when did you actually think seriously about calling it a day?
You know, I think it was kind of when they announced the card in Sacramento. I feel like it just was kind of a perfect scenario. It's my hometown. It's a place that I've fought for and represented for a long time. It's a new arena, and I feel like, you know, I feel very fortunate to have my health, my mind that's healthy, and this is a dangerous way to make a living. This is a profession of passion, something that I've loved to do, and I've lost a little bit of that excitement that I get from it, even though I still enjoy the process. And so that was kind of a sign for me that like it's time to do this, and I think this is going to be an emotional and a heartfelt fight.
Right, and you know, we talked about this, you know, the situation where you are in just before the Rivera fight, where we talked about how dangerous of an opponent he is and how the other fighters were skipping him. So, and we also, you know, recently saw Miesha Tate calling it a day in the octagon right after her fight. So, what went through your mind after your fight with Rivera?
You know, I knew that was going to be a tough fight. Stylistically, he and I were very similar. I knew it was going to be, was I going to be able to find an opening on the ground or standing? It kind of ended up being, in my opinion, kind of a lackluster fight. So it had nothing to do with that. You know, if anything, you know, I fought that fight because I kind of had my eye on the Sacramento card, and I figured, hey, if I'm an active fighter, I'm an active fighter, and I don't like to turn down fights, you know, and I like to give everybody an opportunity, and he was very deserving, and he fought a good fight, and so, you know, it was what it was.
Now, right. Is there anything you can share about how you're approaching the fight with Brad? Your strategy, as much as you can tell us?
You know, Brad's not a very mysterious guy when it comes to his fighting style. He likes to throw heavy shots, boxing centric. He throws some little light low kicks to the lower shin. You know, other than that, you know, he's well rounded. He can wrestle. He can do jiu-jitsu. He can do it all. So, you know, we're not expecting much different, but just knowing that it's going to be a battle. He's in it. He's in there to take my head off. He's in there to get the submission. He's in there to go for a finish, and he won't quit. So that's something that we're very well prepared for. So being in great shape, being the first to strike and the first to initiate offense is the best plan for it.
Right, and you know, even before, even in his previous fight against Alcantara, you've seen that, you know, Brad leaves his guard open, which resulted in him getting decked with a spinning back elbow, leading to you know, the finish. So is that something that you would want to exploit, because he's a completely different fighter from someone like Jimmy Rivera?
Yeah, you know, I feel like he's a kind of live by the sword, die by the sword type of guy.
Right.
He'll wait and he'll take his punches to give heavy punches, and has confidence that his power and his ability are are going to stand tall. And sometimes that's worked for him, and sometimes it hasn't. I'm not quite the same fighter. You know, I don't do a 50-50 exchange for the most part. I'm not trying to you know, take a punch to give a punch. I'm trying to punch, you know, be offensive, and I think that'll be the difference for us. Like I said, he's got a lot of offense, and he's got a great fighting spirit. So I know it's gonna be a difficult fight. It's 3 rounds. I've done 5 rounds plenty of times. I know he's done you know, been fighting for a long time, so he's a lot of experience. So I'm just planning on putting my best foot forward.
Okay, now talking about your career now, is there a fight you would want to get back or just repeat, even a fight that you've won, if you could, and why?
You know, I look at the 2 Mike Brown fights. Were both kind of fights that I would love to have had again. You know, the first one I did a jumping back fist elbow, or jumping back elbow, like, and clothesline myself into a heavy right hand, and I still, you know, wasn't unconscious, but was getting unanswered punches. And then the second fight, in the first round, I broke my hand on the top of his head, overhand right, and then I dislocated my thumb in the 3rd round. So, you know, bittersweet. I was able to fight that fight. I didn't have all my weapons. One that I'd like to do again with different circumstances.
Right, and you know, even till recently, Dominic Cruz has kind of changed his tone. While talking about you saying you've been a pioneer in you know, building these smaller weight divisions. So is that something that has changed? The rivalry that was, you know, between you for so long, it has turned into admiration now. So what do you think about his comments, and do you think the rivalry has finally been put to rest?
I wasn't aware of the comments. But we've always had a working relationship, you know. It just so happens our working relationship had to do with beating the crap out of each other, and it's not the normal working relationship. So, yeah, I can appreciate Dom, and we'll be cordial when we see each other. There's no, you know, there's no love lost there, but, you know, we get along just fine if we need to. So I appreciate the respect, and it's mutual. And he's got his hands full. You know, he's got his hands full with Cody, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. You know, it's funny the changing of the guard. You know, I think 27 when I fought him. He was 21. The second time I was 32. He was 26, and then now he's 31, and he's fighting Cody, who's 25. It's just an interesting game we play, man. It's a great sport, and much respect to Don as well.
So up till now, what's been your favorite fight? You know, where you feel everything's come together for you.
Say again. I'm sorry.
What's been your favorite fight till date? Like where you feel everything's come together for you.
You know, the first Jens Pulver was great. I enjoyed that fight. It was against somebody that was a world champion in the UFC. Had fights against iconic guys, and it was somebody who I watched him travel the world and fight guys. So it was the first big fight in my hometown. So I really enjoyed that one. It was a 5-round fight. It was a nice battle. Also the Mike Brown fight. You know, I broke my hands and had to fight through adversity. I gained a lot of respect from fans around the world in that fight, and learned a lot about myself as well. So I like that fight. Those are probably 2 fights that stand out. 1 win, 1 loss.
Now,
right.
Sorry, you want to ask them? You were going to ask them?
Yeah. Yes, I was also interested because, you know, again, during our last conversation, we talked about how difficult it is for you to cut weight at this stage of your career. So going into this weekend, and we have seen what happened with Anthony Pettis. You know, weight cutting is always a difficult proposition when you have to move down, you know, a weight class. So how has this, you know, the weight cut for this fight been for you?
You know, I've been competing as a combat athlete since I was, you know, 12 or 13 years old. I've never missed weight, not once, my whole life. So I never worry about that, especially fighting four times this year. That helps. You know, when you have the time off, you get the muscle back. You know, you have time to eat and be jolly. It's different than when you're on the grind, on the grind, on the grind. And that's the case. This year I've been fighting, so I've had to get my weight down a couple times. I mean, it's always, 4 or 5 pounds. It's a real struggle, but as of right now, I'm in great striking distance, and it will be hard, but it's not going to be a problem.
All right.
Now, one of your proteges, Vincent, is headlining UFC Sacramento. Now, how involved are you with her actual training, and how does it get affected when you have a fight on the same card?
We have a great coaching staff here. So, I mean, honestly, I give a lot of input, especially to someone like Paige. We have, some similar style, little things and mentality and being a sounding board for all the things that she's juggling as a superstar in the sport, someone that's young and has everybody at her throat. So, our coaching staff and the system we have here is amazing. We have so many contributors, so many folks that are putting in their time. So it's not a problem if I'm busy. She has a lot of people to lean on.
Okay.
Right. Now, as an extension to that question, we talked about Paige back in January when she just lost to Rose Namajunas. And you said, Paige is still improving, still has a long way to go. Now, after a recent fight where she finished her opponent in such a fantastic fashion with a highlight, finish. So how do you think Paige has been coming along? I mean, as a fighter who's developing, who's still young, how do you see her development going into the fight?
I think it's coming along great. I think it's crazy because she's juggling so much. She spent a lot of time away from the gym on Dancing with the Stars. She was on another TV show, a cooking TV show. She's been doing media like a mad woman. She was all over the place doing media. And on top of that, she's coming in and improving. When she's in the gym, she's working hard, very hard. And she's a fast learner. She's very receptive to advice and listens to her coaches. So that's all you can ask for. And she's only 22 years old. So the time and the experience, it's all going to help. Losses like that loss are going to help. Everything is leading towards her being a champion someday.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to pull out some fan questions as well now. So I'm just going to say them as the guys have asked them. And there were a lot of fan questions, so we had to filter some of them. So I'm going to start with one which seems interesting. These are his words. This is from Ajankya Samarth. He asks, who do you hate more, Cruz, Conor, or Benavides?
I like all three of those guys.
Okay.
I do. I think I'm friends with Conor for sure, and Joseph. He's a protege of mine and a good friend. He left on good terms with me. I don't think it was the wisest decision for him, but he did do his own thing. Cruz is all right. He's growing up a bit. I like all those guys.
Okay. Now Swastik Patnaik asks, after you retire, will you coach full-time or just be a mentor?
I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. So I'll be in the gym. I think the biggest thing I'm going to be doing is growing this team. So, you can't be focused all the time on coaching when you have all these other things. So if I were to coach, I'd have to devote all my time to it, become, just developed. And I will be mentoring. I'll be helping out my guys, giving some direction how I want the team to run, of course. But I like to recruit. I like to promote. I like to manage. And do all that on top of it that has other things going in this world.
Right, and I just like to cut in because you told me before that you have different projects that you're working on, and once you retire, probably you'd be willing to go into those different avenues. So this is the same question. What would you be invested completely in Team Alpha Male, or would you be pursuing different projects outside as well?
Oh, a lot of projects outside, from real estate, entertainment, just business in general. We got Torque Clothing, we've got Purist Labs, we've got Vibe Health Bar and Liquidology, juice that we deliver nationwide. Faber Real Estate, we've got construction company. I mean, we got a TV show I'm pitching with the Always Sunny in Philadelphia guys. It's fight related, but really funny. I've got all sorts of stuff going on.
Wow.
And my team, I've always been able to juggle a lot of things. My team will be a priority, and I'll be in the gym daily. But, you know, I like to stay busy. I like to have a lot of things going at one time.
Any more movies you can talk about right now?
Any more what?
Movies. Any movies you can...
Yeah, we've been working on a couple of movies. I have my manager, Mark Schulman, out of 3 Arts in LA, and we've had some projects going. You know, it's all, you never know until you know on those kind of situations. It's always until it starts happening, you don't really know. But I've got some of that works as well.
Can you please repeat that, because I don't think we could actually hear a part of what you were saying, or is it just me?
I think it's just you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So,
okay. Now, yeah. Raja Datta asks your take on Garbrandt versus Cruz.
You know, to be honest, Cruz and Garbrandt is going to be an amazing fight. Cody is a dangerous guy. Cruz is not a dangerous guy. He's pretty good, but he's not dangerous. I think, you know, the biggest difference with TJ against Cruz and Garbrandt versus Cruz is I think Garbrandt gets better when he's frustrated, and TJ gets worse when he's frustrated. So, on top of that, not many people have seen Cody's grappling side. He's very, very high level grappling, and he's got heavy punches. Definitely the heaviest punches in the division, without a doubt. So, you know, it's, you know, Cruz has his elusivity, which is always hard to deal with, but we've been emulating that. And Cody's been watching it since he was a kid, really, and he's ready to take in there, get the belt.
Right. I was also about to ask you about Cruz's, you know, as you said, elusivity. He has this scientific footwork, the movement, which is probably the best when it comes down to all the fighters on the roster. So, you know, again, when you say you have fighters who are emulating Cruz's movement in the gym, how difficult is it to find someone that can replicate Cruz's footwork, the way he moves, the way he creates his angles? How difficult has it been to emulate someone like that?
To emulate him exactly, it's pretty difficult. I mean, it's a very unique style, but being elusive and getting guys frustrated, you know, sticking and moving and running and all of that good stuff. I mean, you can emulate it. It's you know, every person has their own version, but it is what it is. This is the fight game. And, you know, Cruz prides himself on being hard to hit, but I don't think the guy plays off and play. Cody Garbrandt. So I'm excited for it. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with what happens.
Okay.
Now, Anup Nair asks, during TUF 22, you had a lot of verbal banter between you and McGregor. So are you disappointed that you couldn't fight him at all?
You know, it was very close. The fight with Nate Diaz was also offered to me, and Conor asked to fight Nate instead of me. So, yeah, that was a good opportunity for Nate, and he took advantage of it and kind of awoke. I feel like he woke up the beast with Conor, reminded him he needs to get back in the gym and get back on his A game. And so that was probably the most vulnerable I think Conor's been, and that would have been nice to get in there. And the funny thing is, I'm a 35 pounder, and I accepted the fight at 155. Still going to give it to me, so that would have been nice, but it is what it is.
So let me just get this clear. Conor asked to fight you, and you did accept?
No. Dana White asked me if I would step in for Aldo and fight.
Yeah.
He also asked Nate Diaz, and he asked Aldo, he asked Frankie, he asked a bunch of guys. And it came down to me and Nate. We both said yes. But Conor wanted to fight Nate.
Okay.
So, right.
Okay.
But I accepted.
Okay.
Right.
Dana about that.
Right. And, you know, also talking about fights that the fans would have wanted to see. A lot of fans, you know, especially me, we were rooting for you and TJ dishing it out. And the last time we spoke, you said, man, if that happens, but I'm not really keen on that. So in hindsight, now that you're calling it a day, in hindsight, do you think maybe you and TJ could have had a fight that would have, sold the numbers, that would have attracted a lot of fans?
Who knows? I mean, does TJ's fights pull a lot of fans? I don't think so. Be involved? Who knows? But it's one of those things where I enjoy this process. I like to fight. I like the build up. I like everything about it. And I wouldn't have really enjoyed any part of that, I don't think. A bunch of drama. I'm not into drama.
Now,
okay.
Now, Sunil Dwivedi asks, what's your take on the lightweight championship? Should Conor get to face Nate or Khabib?
Conor, Nate, or Khabib for the 155.
Yeah.
And I hate to see Khabib get skipped again, but Nate's my boy, and that's going to make a lot of money for a lot of folks. And we need more money in Northern California, especially Stockton. Let's give it to Nate.
Okay. Now, there's, of course, I think 3 different associations or unions now. Your take on the necessity, if you feel the necessity for a fighters union, association, whatever you want to call it, and if you plan on joining one or being more active for fighters' rights to get them, better deals.
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't necessarily want to be a martyr in the sport. There's 3 different organizations that have their own agendas. I haven't taken a look at any of that stuff yet. I've just been focused on myself and my business and everything else. I will definitely take a look at things and see what the layout is and all these different, possibilities. But I don't see myself being some kind of soldier going after, trying to fight the system. I'll be definitely level-headed and see what's best for everyone. And I'm not sure what exactly it's going to look like for me at the end of that.
Okay. Now, is there, sorry, you wanted to add something, Akhilesh?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get Uriah's thoughts going into the weekend, his hometown, Sacramento. What are the emotions like? I mean, has it dawned on you that, it's going to be your last professional fight the next weekend? How have the emotions been?
I think I'm in denial, man. I'm just going about everything as usual, and this feels like I'm doing media. It's right after, but just got to stay focused on the fact that I'm fighting that dangerous, and it is a little bit different. It's a different mentality. It's a different mentality when you're preparing for your last one versus, really always having a bigger picture. So it's different, but trying to keep it the same.
Right, and it works both ways. Some fighters have extra pressure going into the last fight, but some actually feel, this is my last, this is my swan song. So I'm just going to go in there and enjoy myself. So what is your mentality? What do you want to do once you get inside the octagon?
Well, I'm always trying to enjoy myself. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this sport. So that's definitely my mentality, go in and enjoy myself. Have my best performance. I believe when I have my best performance, I will win always. And, that's why I'm in this sport. So, it's kind of crazy to think about when you really think about it being your last one. It's a little surreal. So I've just been not thinking about it.
Now, is there any fighter who you regret not being able to fight?
Yeah, I think there was a time where a fight between me and Kid Yamamoto would have been a big deal.
Yes.
On the world level. He was a champion in Japan. I was the champion in the WEC, and he was a real superstar, bigger than I was at that time for sure. And it was a fight that a lot of people wanted to see. So, Kid Yamamoto, that was a fight that was out there and was talked about, but the time passed for that one. So that would have been cool.
Great.
Right.
Akhilesh, anything else?
Yes. So my last question would be, if there's a good possibility that you go in, that you get a dominant victory, would there be any part of you that would say, you know what, maybe there are a couple of more fights left in me. Maybe, I might have called it a little too soon. Because, let's face it, there are fighters who are well into their 40s still fighting. So would there be a part of you that might say, you know what, maybe I have called it a little too soon?
I mean, I probably have, to be honest, but I know I could fight for another 10 years if I wanted to. But I just feel like it's never been about. I mean, first off, I plan on winning decisively, on the weekend. I mean, that's my plan. That's what I predict I'll do. So I've thought about that, and I like to leave when I still have what I feel is a championship mentality and a championship ability, and my health and my mind. I'm going to really need my mind in the next phase of things, and this is a hard way to make a living. I'm in here fighting guys like, like Cody Garbrandt, and before that, TJ Dillashaw. I mean, these are world champions that I'm going toe-to-toe with on a daily basis. And Chad Mendes and Joseph Benavidez and Andre Fili and Taruto and all these guys. I mean, these are high-caliber fighters. It's easy to do for me. I love to do it. It's not the smartest thing as you get into your late 30s, and so on and so forth. So I'm just being wise and following my heart and looking to focus my attention on new things.
But is there a possibility of you probably thinking twice about retirement?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I mean, now, I have a real hard time turning down a good time and a lot of money. So, I mean, you never know. I'll never count myself out of anything. But, I mean, I plan on this being my last. Barring some amazing opportunity, who knows? But I think this is the right decision.
All right.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we would like to thank you so much for taking out the time. And we know you're really busy. You've got the fight coming up. You've got a lot of things to do. So thanks for taking out this time for your Indian fans. It was a real pleasure. And we wish you all the best for your final fight and everything else after that.
Yeah, and
thanks, guys.
I'll catch up with you again very soon.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks for tracking me down, man. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yes,
Bye.
sir. Have
Thank
a good day and have a good fight. Thank you.